do new site one. We're gonna get through as much of it as we can. Someone want to dim the light? So as I said before, this is actually a 6-part challenge. Goes all the way until like next Thursday, and it's just going to continue to build on top of one another. So you're going to complete new site one, and then on Monday is new site two. In new site two, new site one isn't finished yet. So you actually have to copy over new site one, new site one to new site two. So and keep building upon it. Or you can just keep on building upon new site one and just copying the additional assets of new site two into your new site one. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay. In this challenge, we will focus on creating 3 components that we will later use as we create a new site similar to Reddit. Each of 3 components listed below has been stubbed out. Your mission is to create the content that the component should render and handle the props that are being passed down appropriately. It's also your decision on whether your components should be functional components or class components. There's no wrong answer here. Here are just some guidelines to help you decide. If your component simply renders text to the screen, whether passed by props or not, use functional components. If it does much more than that, does like a lot of states, using lifecycle methods, use class components. The second part, that's like the traditional way, the old way of doing React. Once we get into lifecycle methods, you can either use class components or functional components. But right now, we'll just stick with this. All the components today have been stubbed out as class components. If you want to change them to functional components, feel free to do so. All these components can be viewed in your browser by running npm run start. There are unit tests already created, so we haven't seen unit tests yet. So let's just go ahead and get started. Git cloned it. I have yet to get or npm install. So let's npm install it. And then just let's look at the first component article teaser after this is done installing. Should have done this before. What's with installing it and installing it through? I think this just ensures that it's installed correctly. Okay. Yeah.
We have to do it every time?
No. So once you do it once and then npm install, it just works. Okay. So when I git cloned this and just npm installed it, I didn't need to do any of this stuff because this is already installed on my loader. But if it's your first time, you might want to do it just to make sure it installs correctly.
Yeah, I just had to do all those to get my test.
Should that be a part of the install test? So that way we don't have to do this later on.
I actually had problems early on. We were doing like jests and stuff like that before getting errors.
Yeah.
That's that. Never got jest.
All right, I think let's do npm. I'm actually going to run the server in a different item too, so I'm still in the desktop channel new site one, which is this one. npm start. Should open up.
Hey Tom. When I was doing npm start, it kept giving me an error for the dependencies, saying that like Babel, I think it was Babel Jest was a different date from my, or it was a different, is an older version from what I had in my like higher level folder. And it said like delete it out of your dependencies so it doesn't re-download, but it didn't have it in the package.json. So I ended up doing like a .env ignore, but I don't feel like that was the best way.
So that could be, I think Brian ran into something similar to that. That could be because you have a node module or a package.json lock file somewhere in a higher directory. So it's trying to, when you npm start it or npm install it, I think it's when you npm start it, it's looking at, it has essentially 2 package.json files or two node modules files to look at. It doesn't know which ones, so it throws an error. So you kind of have to like go up directory to see if you have any node modules or package.json JSON lock files and just delete them.
So I should delete those.
Usually it tells you exactly where the other one is. I have to say this.
So I'm just gonna open some files. So pretty familiar with the package or app.js. So let's look, okay. There's 3 components, the app.nav, article teaser, and then just the article component. And in our app, the class component. In our super props, we have random article index. Looks like it generates a random number for an index, and it grabs that random article from this news.data, which is literally just a JSON file of dummy data for articles. Then in here, this .state is an object. We're setting nav items, which is an array of nav items that have each one has a label and value key. And there's also an article key that has ID, title, abstract, byline, image, created at date. So in our component 1, article teaser, the article teaser component should accept the following props from app.js. It's the ID, title, created at date, handle, title, click. All of these props will be passed in. The article teaser component should display a title inside an A tag. When the title A tag is clicked, it should call this props.handle click and pass in this .props.id. Will arrow functions be useful here? Maybe, maybe not. Display the created date in a p tag. You think article teaser should be a functional component or a class component? It's kind of up to you. So let's open up. Which one is it? The article teaser component. So we have article teaser. We also have some test specs. Don't really have to worry about that. But let's actually run that npm test. npm test, which is just a script. Okay. A bunch of these. What's going on? Oh crap. What the hell? Did I give it access to everything?
Oh, what? That's what it did for me.
Oh, this is weird. Test. I did it. No, that's all I want. But it's doing it like a bunch of times. Isn't it?
So then I
Stop. Let's run all tests. Okay, that's better. One passed. Source components. So here are the test specs. Let's see if we can get it to pass. So article teaser, it looks like nothing is being passed in. It doesn't look like anything's actually being rendered. So let's just render something. Article teaser. And let's see what our app. That's weird. This is article teaser. Great. So it said article teaser component should accept the following props from app.js. Do that. Let's see from app.js. So see where article teaser is. So here's our article teaser component. We're passing in props, ID, title, created at date, and a handle title click, which is a function that sets a parameter called article ID and console logs the article ID. So here it says, I'm going to just copy this stuff over and just put it up there. Display the title inside of an A tag. So first thing I'm going to do, make sure, I want to see it, make sure that props is actually being passed down. So how do I console log props in here? It's in a class component. This props. Let's open up console. So in my article teaser, I've got an object, ID, title, creator, that date, and handle, title, click. Cool. So let's grab the title, because I need to split a title and a tag. How do I access the title? From property. Props.
This stuff, props, type.
All right, there is my title. And then it also says, so I got that. When the A tag is clicked, it should call this props.handle click and pass in this props.id. So on click, can't play. No, John can't play. So it needs to call this props.handle title click. Right? Pass in this props.id. Yeah. And it's rerunning the test. Every time I save it, it reruns tests. I think that's taking a long time. What is going on? And kill it. Super annoying. Oh, we're gonna keep going.
I think you used the wrong function.
Oh, yep. Handle title click.
Yep, you put hand, it's handle.
And title click. There we go. So when I click on it, what should it do? So let's look at the handle title click function. Console log type. Not doing anything.
Uh, 27.
27.
Is that the ID code on the console? On the browser. Yeah.
Oh, so immediately, right when I run it,
So it shows
app JS73, article teaser 7, article teaser 7.
You want to prevent decode on it, or
Can I do that? Refresh. Oh, there we go. So right when so I needed to actually add an anonymous function. So when I click it, it runs this function. Then it runs this. I'm gonna kill that. There we go. I want to see if this works. I don't know. We'll deal with that later. Kill it. So, all right. So will arrow function be useful here? That's what that is for. I guess it will be. So display the created date in a p tag. Created this dot props created date. There's the created date. When I click on that, there's console logged it. Keeps 19. So every time I refresh it, it randomly gets an article. I can console log every time I click on that. And then it says, let's see, component, article teaser, line 10, the href attribute is required for an anchor to be keyboard accessible. Okay, so I need an href equals, let's just do hashtag. Why is it doing it? Valid, whatever. It's not that important right now. Format the document. Good, there we go. Let's look at the requirements. Should this be a functional component or a class component? Generally speaking, based off of where functional components up here where it says the component simply renders text to the screen, whether passed by prompts or not, use functional components. Right. So this probably should be a functional component for all intents and purposes, and for time, let's just keep it as a class component. It should still operate the same. If we have time, we'll convert it to a functional component. Move on to that next. Article component. Article component should accept the following props: title, created at date, byline, image. So it says byline, a string, optional, URL, optional. Okay, so we may or may not give this byline an image as a prop. So I'm back here in my app.js. There's the article. And it looks like there's this weird syntax we might not be familiar with. The spread operator, which essentially does what this is doing, but like that. It's really easy. So I'm going to close that article teaser. We don't need to do that right now. I'm going to go into the article component, split the screen. And in here, I'm just going to run console log, see what I'm actually getting passed in here. Just that as props. So I'm going to article teaser. I'm going to delete that console log. Always delete console logs when there's no need for them, or once you're done using them, because your app's just going to be a crap ton of console logs, especially when you're working in groups and you're merging code together. You're going to delete all your console logs. It's going to be really difficult to keep track of what's what. Where is there another console log? Up here in the app.js.
There's one right there.
App.js, they've got this destructuring, cool. Save that. So now the only thing that should be console log using in my article component and my properties. So we have ID, title, abstract, byline, and image, and created at date. All right, let's see what the requirements for that is. Play the title tag, or the title prop as an H1. H1, well, not HQ. H1. This dot props dot title. Instead of writing this dot props, what should I do? Can I do to make it easier? Instead of writing this dot props,
This stuff has to be
Destructure.
we can do structure. Correct. So const equals what I have to pass it when I'm passing title. Created at date, right? Created at save date, abstract, byline, image, abstract, byline, image, equal this dot props. So instead of writing this dot props, I'm just gonna write title. And here's my title. Created date, abstract, byline, image. Thing signed but never used. So the next we have title done. Split created at date, p tag. Since I destructured created date, I can just call it byline. So display the byline if it exists in an H2 tag. So how do I, if it exists? So normally it would just be like H2, then there'd be byline, but if it doesn't exist, this variable might throw an error. Is it ever going to throw an error? No, not yet. But so if it exists, do the byline. So in here I can write inline JavaScript, and you can do like a ternary, like byline. So if the byline exists, render this H2 tag. Otherwise, just null. If it's always going to be something like H2 or nothing, you can get rid of that. So if byline exists and that, because this second part is always true. So if byline is true, then render this H2 tag. If you did just a basic ternary, that's fine as well. This new syntax, this relatively new syntax in React. And then display the image tag if it exists. The value of the image should be set to the source attribute of the image. Can I do abstract? Yep. Okay. So image. So again, if it exists, image tag. So image and image source equals image. We have to do an alt. Image tags are a little different. It almost looks like doesn't have like a standard closing. So here we go. Our image shows up. And then what's the last one? The abstract. Inside of P, the P tag, or display up abstract inside of the P tag. Abstract. Here's our abstract. So that time doesn't look very pretty, does it? Like, I don't know what the hell. All right. 2017 02 10 T 18 08 38 -05, whatever. Like, that's really not that great. So I'm just going to, like, what's that?
String due date.
String due date? Does that work?
It didn't work on mine.
Wait. I want to do something different. I didn't know about that string due date.
Well, new date, string new date.
Yeah.
Well, because I couldn't figure out how to get it to do the regex at the end, because that was amazing.
So I'm going to look for an external library that converts looking dates into something a little more readable. So moment.js, it's a nice React library. So I need to install this. See, parse, validate, manipulate, and display dates and times in JavaScript. So it's like moment format. So it might look really nice and pretty. But in order to do that, I need to npm install, save it. So I'm going to install this. And if you want to make this pretty, your test specs will fail because the test specs don't account for an external library that makes it render nice and pretty. So how do I use this? Docs. Require moment. That's the old way of doing it. Back end. So in my article, I'm going to import moment from moment. Then in this created at date, I need to moment dot format. I can format it in a very specific way, however I want. Parse get display. So maybe I want to do something like that. Again, literally. something like that. Let's see if that looks any better. Friday, February 10th, 2017. Yeah. So this is a little better, a little more readable than whatever this is. So let's go ahead and do that for the teaser as well. And let's also destructure in the teaser. We have to destructure const with ID, handle, title click, ID, title. Is that it? Oh, I created that. Create a date. So let's get rid of all these props. Stop props, stop props, stop props, delete. And in here, moment, that format.
This is the props. We need to do.
Oh, yeah. Like you equals this dot props. Let's just copy over this. There's right there, that's a little it's better. Click on that, we still get our article ID. See if we meet the requirements for article. Cool. So lastly, the last component, the app.nav. That nav component should accept the following props: nav items, an array of nav item objects, handle nav click, a function will arrow function please here, probably, maybe. The app nav component should return a nav component that contains a tags as children, one for every item in the this.prop.nav item array. That through the nav items, create an array element, the objects within, something like this. Yep, we got that label. Split screen. So here's what that looks like. Home, opinion, world. So these are just going to be links at the top. And transforming, mapping the nav item objects, just that prop, not nav items, an array, a tag. We want to use the label property to display. So we want this to add this label value to display as the text that appears on the screen. At the same time, you want to attach an event handler to each a tag on click event. On click should call this.props.handle nav click and pass the value right here from the nav item object. Cool. So let's look down and we're rendering the nav item or the app nav component. We're passing in nav items. We're getting this nav items from this dot state, just coming from all the way up here. Then we're also passing in this handle nav click, and we're just creating an anonymous function that takes in a parameter called clicked item, which is the value. We're just console logging it. So in here, we're going to console log this dot props just to see again, see if console logging anything in here in the article. Put it on the teaser. Nope. Cool. So app.nav on line 6 is where I'm doing the console log. And here in the nav items, it's an array, and there's a handle nav click event, or a handle nav click method function. All right. So in here, I need to essentially render each and every one of these items appear, like home, opinion, world, national, politics, upshot, their region, business. Now, I could just literally like hard code it, but that's not that efficient or scalable. So we can do, let's write a function that loops through that. Let's see what I want to do. Yeah. So render nav items. There's a couple ways we can do it. Console log this .props.nav items. And then here, I'm going to call this render nav items and invoke it. See. Okay, cool. Is that the same thing? Yep. Line 6 in app.nav. So console logging. So great. There's a couple of ways I can do this. I can literally just like return this .props.nav items.map and take in the nav item individual. Map takes in has the option to take in 2 parameters: the individual item and the index of that item. I can return a tag. See if this works. Might not work. That item dot label. Cool. There's one way to do it. That works, but each I want like an on-click event. That would set. App through. So yeah, you need an on-click event. This a tag calls this .props and click. So on click, and they talk about something like this .props handle nav with, and takes in this .props nav. Oh no, just nav item value. Actually, I'm just. Does that work? Oh, cool. All right, that's one way to do it. But I'm getting this error where it's like each child in a list should have its own unique key. So in this, each child from a list, so each one of these, it's like a list of A tags, needs its own unique key. So key, what's unique about this, I can grab the index. I shouldn't get that anymore. Cool. Redundant alt attributes, that's whatever, that's fine. There we go, we got that. There's another way we can do this render. I think this is the way I did it. Let's just comment that out. Do another one where I think it tells you down here, past the, it says like create an array and then render the array. Does it tell me to do it? Yeah. Yeah, so map through this .props.nav to create an array of A elements. So you can do that. Render nav items equals anonymous functions. I can say like nav items array, empty array. We've seen this before. Nav this .props.nav items .map, and pretty much the same thing. Nav item index Python over here. Let's do that. Nav item array push. I can literally just push the same thing. In pushing this entire A tag into this array, and I can just return nav items array. I should get the same outcome. Nope. Nav items array. This render nav items array.
That's singular one. 14 bottom.
14. Line 14.
This is item, should be items.
What am I looking at? Nav item.
Line 14,
Line 14.
on the, where you push it, it's have items.
Thank you. Right here, same difference. That works. This should, like everything I just did, should pass the test specs except for that moment.js that would fail the test specs. This doesn't look that pretty for like a. So I'm just gonna do span and move that down here. And I'm gonna have to move this key into the span because it's gotta be the parent of the list. Still looks kind of crappy. But in the span, I'm just gonna do like a space. It's a little bit better. So when I click on this, yeah. This would fail the test specs though. But right now it's just making things look pretty. Let's see if did I finish the transforming? Is there anything? What questions you have about this so far? Does it seem like too easy me going through it?
Always.
This is the
Math is
Just a build
an array function.
map function. JavaScript. 33 schools. So JavaScript array map method. Return an array with the square rows. Not really a good example.
It's kind of like the for each method,
Yeah.
but it returns a value instead of just mutating the value.
At the end. So yeah, it's kind of like a for each, but it can also take in an index that returns like a new array.
So it's constructed instead of destructed.
You can easily just, I think, you could use for each.
But that will mutate the data, right? You're not supposed to mutate data.
Would it still work?
You can't counter my question with a question.
Questions?
I'm still pretty confused. The rule of thumb, like when you're doing conflict events or something, when you use the federal function versus
negative returns an array.
putting in the props.
Like you could put it in an array, but
So like when to this part?
Yeah, like how do you know before running the site
it's gonna
that it's gonna do it before the conflict versus you do it when it, like when you use the federal function versus when you can just pass
You
in
don't need
a
to be-
function and it'll work the way you want it.
So
because I had to do.
what I don't know if it's like I don't know why this is, but like if I'm passing a method down to a child component, I'll need to use that fat arrow to make it click. But if I'm creating that method within the component, like in here, and then if I'm calling it down here, I don't need to do it. Pretty sure.
Because it runs a function, because the child gets passed out, so it runs a function then. Kind of like when we load the web page, kind of like you prevent default, we have to use that.
The prevent default just prevents the form or whatever you put that operate prevents it from operating in its like default manner.
I have an answer for that.
Yeah, do you? I was gonna say you probably already did that.
One day it will click.
What's that?
One day it will click. Like Well, it happened to me today when Quinn was explaining why if you pass a function call, it will just pass the function call result. Whereas if you pass a function variable, it will pass the function variable down.
It sounds like
I'm gonna stop the recording right there.